Good morning, sunshine. Thank you to Irene, Christine, Courtney, Charles, and everyone in the Asteroid Fight Club. I'm now within $564 of hitting my November 2021 fundraiser right before my 9-year anniversary, which will be on the 23rd, which is great news. You guys are incredible, and you treat me so well. If you'd like to contribute, I got a CashApp, Patron, Venmo, PayPal, and a mailbox. You guys are so great. Okay, let's get to the Doomy news. We've got a partial lunar eclipse coming up. And if you've seen the movie Apocalypto, you know that means somebody's going to get shanked. Wait, what? No. Let's hope nobody gets shanked. But we're definitely watching out for some lunatics losing their Luna mind in the next few days. Plus, like earthquakes, volcanoes, and just general wackiness. And, let's see, we had a 4 earthquake in California yesterday. And then we had a 4 in Missouri, which had everybody going, New Madrid, New Madrid, New Madrid. And now we've had a 5.2 in Alaska and a 6.2 in Papua New Guinea. And then this looks like a big one, 5.5 down in Argentina. So right now, nothing super duper major, but we are keeping our eye out because sometimes there are some pretty big earthquakes around eclipses, and I've noticed sometimes it happens actually in the eclipse path. Plus, the planets are still majorly out of balance, with most of them over here, including the big ones like Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Hey, look at this cool line here. It's almost like Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and Mars in a straight line to nowhere. All right, you got 3 sunspots on the Sun right now, but solar activity is low. We haven't had an M-class solar flare in a while. That could change in the near future, but maybe not. We'll have to continue to monitor the sun, because technically, in my opinion, nobody really knows what the sun is going to do next. It's kind of one of the things that when I started THORnews almost 9 years ago, doing it seriously. I was like, you know what? The sun is really a mystery. Although a lot of scientists and people like to walk around being like, I know exactly what the sun is. I know exactly what the sun is going to do. This big ball of burning gas and light in the air that's there for us every day. I'm a sun expert. And then I realized, you know what? No, there is so much about the sun we do not know. It is still a total mystery to me. You don't have to feel the same way. That is cool. We are all allowed to have different opinions and perspectives. It's kind of one of the cool things about life. Anyway, but yeah, it's still kind of super doomy. There's been a uptick in earthquakes at the Palma, the volcano in the Canary Islands, which is going super duper freaky cray over the last 2 months. But the real doom gloom action seems to be coming out of Russia with Putin over the last few days. They blew up a satellite, an old one, that caused a debris train, which made everybody in the ISS have to move to the right of the bus or whatever. And then that creates a situation where a bunch of space junk could hit other space junk and causing a cascading space junk debris flaming sky thing that would fall to Earth called the Kessler syndrome. And if that wasn't weird enough, I woke up this morning and Putin was like, hey, I speak on behalf of Russia when I say Russia and the United States of America ties are not satisfactory. So I'm not really sure what has made Putin so upset over the last week. And so we're at like DEFCON WTF levels, right by the full moon. And I've told y'all, one of the main goals for Asteroid Fight Club over the next 6 months is avoiding World War III. Because, 2 years of the plague has really stressed everybody out to the max. And, I don't know, Taylor Swift came out with her album where it's like all revenge all the time, which is not necessarily the best attitude in a plague, but who am I to judge? I don't know. The common theme is that don't ever disagree with Taylor Swift in any way, or you will be destroyed. So I'm going to try and stick to that. So whatever I was saying, just disregard it. I'm just saying right now, revenge, well, I guess we've only got 3 days left in Scorpio season, but it would be really great if we could avoid World War III. Technically, that has been part of my job as Planetary Defense Commander and, Asteroid Fight Club. And the irony is that I started Asteroid Fight Club when the meteor exploded over Russia, and I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to team up to handle the next decade and for us to go forward into the future together as one of our team. But man, you know that has been shaky ground. All right. Hang in there, because my base state is rooted in optimism, so I'm not giving up, and I'm not quitting being your planetary defense commander anytime soon. Asterisk. Yes, please stop the madness. Sometimes I make big predictions. Last year, almost a year ago at this time, I said, hey, 2021 is going to continue to abuse us all, and I definitely wouldn't count this as the funnest year I've ever had. So also, bad news, the coronavirus is super duper spiking in Europe, and we're watching numbers start to slowly tick up in the USA. Often whatever happens in Europe follows the trend here. The trend comes to the USA in a couple weeks. I know nobody wants to hear that, but technically it's my job to tell you guys the truth, no matter how unpopular it may be. I have noticed if I do a video like, oh my God, I'm just so happy because Astro Fight Club is so nice to me, I will get one or two comments from people who'll be like, I hate you. You are horrible. I'm like, hey man, you're allowed to think that. This is still the land of freedom. You can have your own opinion. And the chance of someone being liked 100% by everybody on earth is like 0. So I just appreciate the people who do appreciate me. And that's why I'm still here. See, Tim Bellisti is like, warm take. Lunar Eclipse is just okay. And here's the thing. You know, I was talking earlier about mythology and superstitions and astrology. And some people say it is bad luck to look into a lunar eclipse, especially if it's the Algol Demon Star one. You're going to have to make up your own adult mind on that one. Have you ever seen the Brady Bunch Hawaii episode? I don't know. I just brought that up. They had evil tiki torches in the Brady Bunch episode. I got that wrong. Sometimes I just put the bulk of the information at the front of the joke or the front of the video, and then I try to tell jokes. Anyway, it's the biggest crypto theft reported by one person. And that person was like a 15-year-old teenager. A Canadian was arrested for allegedly stealing $46 million in crypto from a U.S. victim. A joint investigation by the FBI, U.S. Secret Service, and Hamilton. Wow, that musical is tracking down crypto people. You guys better beware. Hey, track them down through a gaming username. Well, yeah, because they were Canadian teen, eh? You hoser. Man, the volcano situation is very interesting. And, you know, it has been a advent calendar of volcanoes all year. But we haven't had a new super duper major eruption in November yet. I wonder if that'll happen. We still have 12 days left in the month. But hey, yeah, you decide whether or not you're going to look into the eclipse. And I've talked about how, like, alcohol, that's kind of the derivative, alcohol comes from that demon. And so that, you know, they always just say, like, demon spirits. I'm trying to decide, because one of the Astro Fight Clubbers, Irene, was like, hey, get yourself some Heinekens. I was like, okay, for sure. And so I did. And so I was thinking maybe tonight, later, like 10 or 11, I will go live and have a couple beers with y'all right before the eclipse. But then would I look in the eclipse? Maybe if I got a bit of a buzz on. I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I know eventually I'll drink the Heineken's Irene was so kind to get me that I got. But, you know. Okay, Ed Pietrowski, tonight's the night. A nearly total lunar eclipse will be visible in the Carolinas. No rain, but there will be clouds around. If skies are cloudy when you step outside, be patient. I expect plenty of breaks. Overall, partly to mostly cloudy and cool all night. So it starts at 2:18. And then it lasts till 5:47 a.m. You'll also be able to see Saturn, Jupiter, the moon. Yeah, that's the moon. And Venus, if you step out early enough tonight. So who knows, man? But who knows? Life, sometimes you never know what's going to happen next. This eclipse won't burn your retina, but it might burn your soul. So you decide if you're going to look at it. Hey, Slovakia announces lockdown for unvaccinated people. Like I said, Europe's been going through some crazy shiz right now. Don't get mad at me for giving you the news, bro. I mean, you can if you want. It's just weird to me. Anyway, Deborah Bloom, New Delhi's air turns toxic, forcing the closure of schools and businesses, and the blame game begins again. So, like, New Delhi's going into lockdown, but not for the virus because it's so damn smoggy and polluted-y. What a weird world we live in. You know, it's weird. Garfield becomes even more existential if you take Garfield out of Garfield. So it's John just being like, I dread tomorrow. I'm bored. Maybe I'll buy a monkey. Hey, Putin, if you're listening, it would be so much better if, you know, Russia, China, and the USA worked together towards peace, especially to get to the last, 6 months of the pandemic. You know, it's probably going to be super challenging up until the spring, and then hopefully it should be a big party. Asterisk. Did I do a dramatic sigh well enough? Okay, great. Indigenous Americans have really gotten the short end of the stick, you know, over time. But yeah, Putin, Russia will respond to NATO military activity on borders. Yeah, Russia's been the big story. And I'll say this again. People who are AKA experts at everything, or, you know, pretty much huge, I like to talk about politics all the time, they really seem to be quiet when it comes to, the Russian, USA, China situation, Iran, cryptocurrency versus fiat, and the whole, France getting super mad with USA, UK, with New Zealand, Australia. I don't know, man. It's just interesting to see what their opinion is on the Russia-USA situation and what we could do to avoid World War III. This is like if Ed Hardy shirts became a video game, I guess. I watched Shang-Chi last night. I liked it. And, you know, the Spider-Man trailer was good. Also, you know, there's a trailer out called Don't Look Up about a comet that's going to hit Earth with Leo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. I recommend watching it. Okay. Yeah, we're still tracking the big storm that should come around my 9-year THORnews anniversary. But I'll do another video to let you guys, keep you guys updated. All right. I hope you have a super duper fantastic morning and great day and great weekend. Okay. And once again, super duper thank you to Astro Fight Club. I'm only $564 away. Hopefully I can hit it by the 23rd or at least Thanksgiving. That way I can take a week off from talking about it. Fundraising. Yay. But if you'd like to contribute, I got a mailbox, PayPal, Venmo, CashApp, Patron. Nothing but love for y'all. $564 left to raise. And nothing but love for y'all. So I'd just like to say thank you again to Irene. Thank you again to Christine. Thank you again to Courtney. Thank you again to Charles. Thank you again to David. Thank you again to Rod. Thank you again to Dennis. Thank you again to Cody. Thank you again to Bruce. Thank you again to JCR. Thank you again to Catherine. Thank you again to Amy. Thank you again to Greg. Thank you again to Carmen. Thank you again to Andrea. Thank you again to Michelle. Thank you again to Sunlight, Angel. Thank you again to Nancy. Thank you again to DWP. Thank you again to the Texas Angel. Thank you again to the Wizard of Oz. Thank you again to Alexis. Thank you again to Lauren. Thank you again to Richard. Thank you again to Barbara. Thank you again to Glenda. Thank you again to Arnica. Thank you again to Lightsoul. Thank you again to Dan. Thank you again to Marlita. Thank you again to Brian. Thank you again to Ann. Thank you again to KJ. Thank you again to Max. Thank you again to anyone out there who's ever contributed, who's ever laughed at any joke I made, anyone who's ever sent me good prayers, anyone who's ever been cool, anyone who's helped contribute to keeping things together as the world just gets crazier. I'm so grateful that I feel blessed and lucky today. Thank you to God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, and Astro Fight Club, and you. Y'all have a very great day. Probably talking to y'all soon. God bless everyone.